Hi friends, and welcome to my beginning of September wrap up. Let's jump into the books that I've read in September. First up this month, I finished Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, which I was so incredibly blessed to read early because the arc was loaned to me very, very sweetly by Mel from Mel to the Annie, who I will have linked down below. She is an absolute gem. I am undeserving of her friendship, but very appreciative of it. And I was able to read that. I already have a review up on Goodreads, and it was a 5-star book. I'm not surprised. So beautiful and so heartbreaking, and I don't want to say too much about it because if you haven't read Strange the Dreamer, I think it's something that you need to experience for yourself, and this will be something that I think everybody should experience for themselves as well. Don't know if I loved it as much as Strange the Dreamer, but it had a different component to it. Really beautiful. The love stories in this are so compelling and so vibrant and take the shape of so many different kinds of love between siblings, between actual lovers, between found families, between lost loves or broken loves and rekindled loves, and it is so gorgeous. So I really, really loved it. I'm really looking forward to getting my book. I did pre-order the pretty sprayed edges of like the UK hardback. Does not match the one that I already have, but that's fine because I really wanted it. So I have that going on. And then the second book that I read was Lost Souls Be at Peace, which was a graphic novel by Maggie Thrash, which comes out. It's already come out at this point. I got an e-arc of that on NetGalley, and I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it more than Honor Girl, which I didn't love, but I was like, hey, if I can get this graphic novel, if I can get this arc, I'll try to read it. And I actually really did like it. It's kind of about the things that you lose as you age and the parts of you that you have to sacrifice to growing up. It had some really, really dark topics like human trafficking and eating disorders and depression. It was still really good, and that one was a 4-star. So a 5 and a 4-star read so far in September. I'm currently reading God's Grave for the buddy read. Today is only the 3rd, and I finished 2 books. I'll check in when I've read my next book. I have an update for my September reading vlog. I just finished God's Grave. You guys will see, you'll have already seen my vlog footage of that before the wrap up goes up at the end of September, but it was like a 2.5-star book that I'm probably gonna rate a 3-star because I don't want everybody to like come at me on Goodreads, but like I did not enjoy myself. Not for me. If you want to know more, check out my vlog. I'll link it up above. I have finished The Goal, which was my TBR jar pick, and that was from Elle Kennedy, and that was a hot mess. I gave that 2 stars. I am gonna grab the jar in case I want to pick something else. Also attempted to read Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart, and I DNF'd it at page 120, 122. Could not get into this. The world building was poorly done in my opinion. The character building was poorly done in my opinion. I saw plot points coming. I know the twist that's coming at the end. I like skim read through some of the other stuff, and it is like the worst mashup of Hunger Games, The Elite, the Red Queen series. Like, it is so predictable and so easy to figure out because it is legitimately a rewrite of like other series. And I know that original ideas are really hard to come by, but I could not get behind this. It is a world where women have 0 say in anything. They're not allowed to really talk to men. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to do anything. They're being sold basically, or like transferred into the castles as graces for essentially sexual purposes, or they're being sent to like jails and prisons and forced to fight against other women. Nope. Nope. I think coming off of God's Grave and the fighting rings in God's Grave, the fighting rings in this one just pushed me over the edge. I just could not handle it. I pushed through God's Grave because I'd already promised you guys a vlog, but I did not enjoy this book. And at 122 pages, I was about a third of the way through. Like, it's not a large book. I was probably over a third of the way. I did not care about the characters. I didn't care about the world. I know exactly that you're gonna have like a good brother, bad brother, love interest triangle. Not happening. So this is a gorgeous cover. I love that it's signed. I love that it's, you know, an exclusive thing for OwlCrate, but I'm gonna unhaul this. And then I read Timekeeper by Tara Sim, which I have had on my shelves for so long. Sky Pony Press sent this to me forever ago. I don't even know how long. And they also sent me the sequel Chainbreaker. And I was like, oh, it's a steampunk Victorian era time travel-y through clock kind of a thing. I'm not gonna like it, but I'd seen, like, I think Victoria Schwab like blurbed this or something. I don't even know. Somebody like really cool had marked this on Goodreads, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, like I'll give it a try. I told the publisher, go ahead and send it. I really, really enjoyed it. I have a full review on Goodreads with some gorgeous quotes. The writing was beautiful. Follows Danny, who is a mechanic. He is in charge of keeping the clock towers and the clocks in working order, and the clocks in this world actually control time. So if the clock tower in a town goes broken, the time in that town starts skipping, or if it breaks completely, the time in that town just stops and everybody in the town gets stuck. So the mechanics are really, really important. Every clock has like this spirit that helps keep the health of the clock as well and keeps the town in working order. And it was beautiful. It was also about Danny's first like real relationship with a boy and his first love, and Danny and Colton's relationship is just adorable and so precious and needs to be protected at all cost. I will 100% be following up with Chainbreaker since I already have it on my shelves, just not right away because I'm coming up on Contemporary-thon and I can't be reading this during Contemporary-thon because it is not a contemporary book. Given the fact that it is historical fiction, steampunk, fantasy, like really didn't have high expectations for it. I really, really loved it. I gave it 4 stars. But I will pull another TBR jar pick and then see what I think about it. I don't really know. If it's crappy, I'm putting it back in there. I'm just letting you know. A Little Princess. I totally freaking read it. Nailed it. All right, so that's a pass. Like, I totally read that book already, just didn't take it out of here. Already kind of winning. Oh, and then the next one that I pulled is Fuck Love by Tarryn Fisher, which I'm already reading. I'm already reading Fuck Love. I already read A Little Princess, so I'm going to count this as a win. I'm just going to call it quits for the TBR jar for the month because technically I have read 3 books out of that jar this month. So look at me crushing it a little bit. I will be back when I have an update on Saving Each Other or Fuck Love. I'll talk to you later. I finished 2 more books. Today is the 15th. Yesterday when I checked in, I was still in the middle of 2 books. Finished one, I DNF'd the other. First one that I finished was Fuck Love by Tarryn Fisher. I gave it 3 stars. I really didn't enjoy it. I had way higher expectations for it, just given the fact that everybody really seems to love Tarryn Fisher's writing. So uninterested in the plot because I was so wholly uninterested in the characters. There are toxic relationships in friendships, in love, there's cheating, and I know that relationships are messy, and I know that not everything is like super cut and dry. Our main character has a dream, and from that dream decides that the entire course of her life should change. Girl, we all have funky early morning dreams in between like waking up and then like fully waking up, or like after you've had spicy food. I don't know. What's your basis for having like prophetic dreams that you feel like you need to now have this life that your dream was about? I don't know. The entire book is spent about her coveting her best friend's boyfriend, and when she can't have him, like moving to his old hometown and moving in with his ex-girlfriend, and like super stalkery, really, really creepy things. And I never liked any of the characters. If you don't care about the characters, then you're not going to care about any of the plot points. Plus, there were an abundance, and I mean an abundance of Harry Potter references in this book. And I'm all for a well-placed pop culture reference, but holy crap, it was extreme. Like, so many. And the first couple, I'm like, oh, this is cute, like, aha. And then it became way too goddamn much. Like, way too much. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I really didn't. So I gave it 3 stars because the writing was still decent, and there were some like super quotable little moments in there. And then I had Saving Each Other by Stacy Mitchell, and I got to page 223 of this. 300 pages in this, like around 300 pages. So like I gave this the nicest review I could possibly give it on Goodreads because it's an indie author who sent me her book. She's self-published. I know how hard that is. It is so rushed. In the first 50 pages we have the and I think I already told you, like we have the introduction of their spouses and their relationships, the death of their spouses and children respectively, and then they start texting one another. They get like a phone that only has one another's phone numbers in it, Danny and Ian, and they are known only by their initial, D and E. They are able to text one another to try to sort through their grief, but they are not allowed to call each other or share personal information. But nobody's also like monitoring that. So I find it very hard that throughout the course of their relationship through text messages, they never share anything. They help one another through their grief. By the time I stopped this, it was a year, like not quite a year after the death. And they've been texting back and forth. They're saying that they love one another, and it's like definitely a romantic kind of a love. They're both in a real life relationship again. Ooh, super plot twist. It's with them, like it's each other. So within the span of 4 pages, they realize that they've been texting the person that they're actually physically attracted to in real life. They have sex. They are asked to move in with one another and asked to get married. All before the first year, after a man's wife, son, and unborn daughter are killed by a drunk driver, and her husband is killed by a drunk driver. Like, it is so rushed and so unbelievable to me. It is such a tell and not show kind of a book. Like, things are kind of forced on you, and you're not able to ever really feel a connection between the characters at all. Definitely get a feel for their grief, but not their actual feelings for one another. And I just didn't believe any of it. It was not for me. I didn't give it a star rating because I don't want to necessarily bring down this author's rating. Today I'm going to work on my book for the majority of the day, and then I really only have tomorrow before Contemporary-thon starts. Hi and good morning. It is Day 8 of Contemporary-thon. I'm so used to starting things with Contemporary-thon, but I am officially done Contemporary-thon, where I read 11 things, none of which I have updated you on for my end of September wrap-up. So I'm going to go over really, really quickly what I read during Contemporary-thon, just give you star ratings, and then you can go back to my vlogs and check them out if you want to know more thoughts, because that's why they're there. El Defo by CC Bell. I really liked that one. I ended up giving that one 5 stars. Then I read Young Jane Young by Gabrielle Zevin and ended up giving that one 4 stars. If you want to know my thoughts or synopsis on those books, you can go check out the first day's vlog. And then I read Fence by C.S. Pacat. I've read volumes 1 through 6, but 1 through 4 were in a bind up, and then I read 5 and 6 separately, so I counted that as 3 books. A combination of 4 and 5 stars. Those were day 2 vlog, if you want to know more thoughts. And then I read The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis and gave that 5 stars. It was amazing, and I'm mad at myself for waiting so long to read it, but it really, really was fantastic. Pretty sure that's a day 3 vlog. And then I read Alice Oseman's Radio Silence. Again, another one that had been on my TBR for forever and ever, and I can't believe I wait that long, but it is so good. After Female of the Species and Alice Oseman's Radio Silence, I got a little heart heavy, and I had to like just ease back a little bit. They started to get like really, really heavy. And then I read Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett, because you guys know Jen Bennett is one of my favorite contemporary authors. Really, really love her writing. However, she used a plot device that really annoys me. And I believe that was day 5's vlog, and that one I gave 4 stars. And then I read Dear Heartbreak, which was edited by Heather Demetrios, and that was a bunch of letters from teens to heartbreak, and then YA authors answered those letters, gave them advice, and I gave that 4 stars. And then I read Taylor Jenkins Reid's One True Loves, and I gave that 3 stars. I did not like it. Taylor Jenkins Reid and Game Changer by Rachel Reed were both day 7 reads that I finished, and I gave them both 3 stars. And Game Changer was a male-male romance that it's fine. That was everything that I've read to date for September. I am in the middle of a couple other things. I'm trying to pull up my spreadsheet. So I read 18 books this month for a total of 5,834 pages. But 3,242 of those pages were from Contemporary-thon, which equaled out to about 463 pages a day, which is what you can do when you don't have a full-time job, which I do now officially have. Today is Monday. It's my first full day back at work, and I know it doesn't look like it, but I do a split shift, so I do 7 to 9, and then I do 1 to 7. This month, I read a lot, but I have not read very much since the end of Contemporary-thon, because burnout is so freaking real, guys. I finished my favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren. This was an arc that I got and I needed to read and review. Does not come out for a little while. Let me see when. December 4th of 2018. It is roughly 400 pages. It was a long contemporary and I gave it 3 stars. This one follows Millie, who is a professor. She is obsessed with female serial killers, but female serial killers specifically. I thought we were gonna get some like really cool vibes like about her work. We really don't. She has 4 male best friends. They're all professors, or they all like work at a university. They're all scientists. They're all very, very bright. And at the end of the year, Obama's gonna come and give a commencement speech at their school, and they all need to have dates to go to this commencement, except they're all really dedicated to their jobs. None of them have significant others. And so they all agree to go and start trying to use a dating app to try to find dates for this gala that they're going to have. It's essentially an adult version of American Pie. You would think that this girl, who's very, very good looking and kind of morbid and quirky, whatever, not really quirky actually, she would have these like horrible online dating experiences. You never delve into like how truly wretched online dating can be for women at all, but she never goes on a single date, which is ridiculous because that's the entire point of online dating. Like, how do you never go on a date? Millie has like one account and they're like, girl, your bio is horrible, like yada da da da. She makes another secondary account that her friends don't know about and ends up matching with somebody she sees every single day and starts talking to them, catfishes them, like never tells them that she's the one talking to them. And that obviously creates drama. It makes no sense. The friend group was supposed to, I think, be endearing. It wasn't. We have a character who drinks like a lot, like starts drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning, never talked about. None of the relationships were fleshed out. The friendships weren't fleshed out. The actual love interest made 0 sense to me. Like, I wasn't invested in it at all. Our main character, Millie, is super closed off, doesn't share herself with her friends. She's supposed to have these like really great friendships, but then never shares anything personal with them, and it just wasn't believable to me. I think 3 stars was probably really generous. Probably a 2-star read. I really didn't enjoy it, which bums me out a little bit. I also finished, last night I got a novella and I read the entire novella last night. Legitimately with Amber from Amber's Books and More. We sat on a Google Live hangout because we were discussing our buddy read of Into the Drowning Deep. There's actually a novella that comes, it's the prequel to Into the Drowning Deep, and it's like 123 pages. We sat on a Google Live hangout because we were already there like doing writing stuff, and we read the entirety of the novella like together. And it was really, really quick, but it was really good. I definitely feel a little bit more comfortable going into the Drowning Deep because I think I now understand the premise and the writing style. So essentially, Rolling in the Deep is the story of the boat that goes out, the scientists that go out to study this area and look for proof of mermaids and then never come back. Like, all hands die, nobody returns, the boat is found just wandering the ocean empty. And then Into the Drowning Deep takes place 7 years later, where they go back out to that area to research like what maybe happened to that vessel. And so it's basically a story of these scientists and this like documentary series and what they find out there, how they all die, and then we follow up 7 years later in Into the Drowning Deep. I don't think it's spoilery. I think it's going to give us a better understanding of the world and the events that they're going out there to research, so I'm cool with it. I also have a look now at these like killer crazy mermaids, a little bit of like that deep ocean vibe that terrifies me. I get it. It's definitely not a horror, it's more thriller, it's more that like edge of your seat, like anxiety kind of a feeling. I don't personally love that feeling. I know a lot of people really kind of get that like high from it. I hate it, but I at least now know a little bit about the story and the writing style, so I won't be like as nervous going into the Drowning Deep, because a lot of people had read it and been really terrified by it, and I was really scared that I was gonna be like way too freaked out by it, but I think I'm gonna be okay. It also reads really, really quick. So that was like 123 pages. I read it in like an hour and a half. So Into the Drowning Deep is like 400 pages. I was worried it was going to take a really long time, but I think it's going to be a really fast read. That's everything that I read for the month of September. I'm going to go through really quickly and tell you my ratings and let you know my page breakdown and all of that. I actually read 6,091 pages for about 203 pages a day. So 19 books. Not bad for the month. It's actually my highest month this year to date. Ratings were all relatively good. We started off with God's Grave, which was 2 stars. The Goal, which was 2 stars. Timekeeper was 4. Lost Souls Be at Peace was 4. Fuck Love was 3. Saving Each Other, I DNF'd. El Defo was a 5. Young Jane Young was a 4. Female of the Species was 5. Fence was 5, but probably gonna average that out to 4. I'm gonna change that. Radio Silence was 5, and then Alex Approximately and Dear Heartbreak were both 4. Game Changer and One True Loves were 3s, and then Rolling in the Deep was a 4. Half Night Stand isn't on here. That was a 3. Overall, not a bad reading month. Only a couple 2 stars, and then a lot of like 4s and a couple 5s. Also, just want to update you in terms of content for October. I'm going to do vlog style wrap up differently in October. The last week of the month will be the Witchathon, and I will have a separate TBR vlog style wrap up for that, most likely. I also believe that I'm going to do a reading vlog for my buddy reads. So I am going from Into the Drowning Deep to the Wicked Deep reread back to back, and I'm probably just going to vlog the 2 of those readings, and then I'll have another general like wrap up for everything else that I am reading. So lots of vlogs, lots of reading stuff, but you guys really like that for Contemporary-a-thon, so I'm going to continue to do that. But that is everything for September. I'm really happy with the reading. I'm really excited for October's reading. I am so ready to get back into some witchy, paranormal, like fantasy-based reads. Thank you so much for reading with me and watching this, and that is it for my September vlog style wrap-up. If you guys liked it, do be sure to give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, click that little notification bell so you know when I put out new videos, and I will see all of you in the next one. Bye, guys.